What's up, Leafs fans? Welcome back to Leafs Digest. We are live breaking down Game 16 of the regular season, defeating the Vancouver Canucks 3-2 in this one. Erik Källgren puts up 29 saves, 2 goals against, 27 saves, 2 goals against, a 9.31 save percentage. Pretty good night for himself. Jordie Benn, first game with the team after he was injured in the preseason with the Maple Leafs, makes the team, gets an opportunity to go here tonight. TJ Brodie looks like he was out based on blocking a shot in last night's game. And Jordie Benn delivers. The guy was a physical presence, manages to get himself on the board. Only 3 Leafs defensemen have scored goals this year, and they might be some surprising ones. Justin Holl, Timothy Liljegren, and now Jordie Benn get on the board, the Leafs defensemen who have managed to score goals this year. If you guys are interested in calling in here tonight, make sure to send a message in the Discord, and I will make sure to get a link to you so you guys can get in here and we'll talk it out with some Leafs fans. We want to hear your opinions. I mean, I'm still not necessarily set. This is a Leafs team that is supposed to be contending for a Stanley Cup, and we're facing off against a Vancouver Canucks team that is terrible. And they have been petitioning for at least our GM has been making it pretty clear that they don't want that coach here, and Bruce Boudreau don't want him anymore. They are in a position where they might be offloading some guys like Bo Horvat or Luke Schenn or potentially Brock Besser or JT Miller. Like, that is a bad team where you should be able to run them out of the building, even though it's a back-to-back. It's a no-excuse type of game where you got to just come out flying. Boris Alming was in the building, a big tribute for him. The emotions have got to be flying. It was a little bit stale. I'm not even going to lie to you guys. I mean, the way that this game started here tonight, I will be completely honest. I was watching it and was just not impressed. Like, I was watching the opening of this game and was like, yep, this is what the Leafs do. This is who they are. And whenever it's a big moment and you need to rely on them, or you expect them to come through, they're going to come out flat, they're going to come out slow. And let's be honest, if they're playing a better opponent than what we saw there tonight against the Vancouver Canucks, probably losing this game. You get out to a 2-0 lead over a Vancouver team that has not been able to hold on to leads all season long. So, I mean, for the Vancouver Canucks to be able to blow that game there, blow that lead that they had, it's not that surprising. This Leafs team, it's just like, even though you get a win here tonight, it was just like, they started playing so flat. They were slow. They looked disinterested yet again. And it's just a theme that continues to happen with this Leafs team every year, like almost. It's not even necessarily, oh, they've been doing it this year. It's like, no, this is what the Leafs do year after year with this core. They just look disinterested. They look slow. They look out of it. It's embarrassing. And it's gross to watch. It's pathetic. They do manage to win this game here tonight. Massive shout out to Jordie Benn. Auston Matthews, obviously, what a shot, what a goal. And then you get Pierre Engvall, who, after we talked about in the last stream how this guy was just a useless waste of money and waste of space, manages to just turn it around right in our faces and score a goal here tonight, and obviously ends up being a pretty important one, as it is the game-tying goal following up off of Auston Matthews' goal. But I don't know. I'm not at the point yet with this Leafs team where I can sit here and feel comfortable in the slightest. If anybody wants to call in here tonight, you can join the Discord. The link to the Discord was posted earlier. I will copy this and post it in here again. And the other thing is, it is in the description of this episode, so you guys can join the Discord there. You can join the Leafs Talk channel, message me on there, and then we'll do everything that we can to get people in here, even if it's for 5 minutes. Give a call. Let us know your thoughts on the game here tonight. We will open it up for some calls. Want to hear what Leafs fans are thinking, how Leafs fans are feeling about this one. Rick Ryan saying the next best game. Yes, I think it was Pierre Engvall's best game. He looked a little bit better, and Sheldon Keefe gave him some leeway. He said, all right, you're going to play like that. You're going to get some ice time. So, I mean, shout out to Pierre Engvall for at least doing something. Because even though he's not being great, something is definitely better than nothing. That is, there's no other way around that. That is just fact of the matter. And being able to get on the board, giving him some runway, let him play. I mean, hey, shout out to Pierre Engvall there. Get himself on the board on the Swedish night. William Nylander also had himself he looked pretty good. He is being a guy that has been pretty impressive to me. So there's that. I am interested, if you guys want to call in, I am interested on everyone's thoughts on Mitch Marner, because I continue to see here, ship Mitch Marner out. Calvin is leading that charge in the chat right now, how he has no interest in Mitch Marner. And I mean, it's something I've said before, but it's something I'm going to continue to say because I genuinely believe it. I think Mitch Marner plays like he has the attitude of the Pee Wee kid. And it's I turned the puck over, I'm going to turn sour and be sad. Or, I did this thing and it didn't go the right way, and I'm going to be all pissy about it again. So, Rick Ryan, Malgin should never be mentioned as your best player. That's sad. I don't know who said Malgin was the best player, but I don't know if that was in a post-game thing. But I will say, hey, Dennis Malgin, to me, has been pretty impressive when he's been able to get into the lineup. Sheldon Keefe did mention the other day that Dennis Malgin was a guy where if you took him out of the lineup, it would be a mistake. It would be a mistake taking him out. The guy's being a puck hound. I like having him in there because I think he's in a position where he's feisty. Like, he'll actually do something. And he goes out there and gets pucks. He fights for stuff in the corners. That's kind of all you could ask for out of the guy. So, shout out to Dennis Malgin for being somewhat of a force out there. Calvin sent the link over there. If you want to join, we can get you in here. We'll be taking some calls today. I'm interested to hear Leafs fans' thoughts on this game here tonight, so let us know. But if you guys are in here watching right now and you have not hit that subscribe button, make sure you do so right now. Hit subscribe and turn on those notifications. You get notified every single time we go live on the Leafs post game, every time we post a video, all that kind of stuff. So we'll get Calvin in here, get his thoughts on the game here tonight, and anybody else who wants to call in, let me know. Send me a message on Discord, and we'll get you in. Calvin, what's up?
How's it going, Zach?
It's not bad. I'm still not feeling overly great about this team, but we do manage to get the win there tonight. Go to 8-5-3 on the season. So I guess it's not all that bad. It can't be the most down, but still not overly impressed about this team. But how's it going with you?
Pretty good. I agree. Not horrible, but some very evident sore spots tonight.
Yep.
Marner, number one sore spot for sure.
Yeah, I saw you in the chat. You were talking about Marner. You're not overly impressed. So, I mean, some people are disagreeing with you. Some are agreeing. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna set the stage before I let you answer on your thoughts on this, because I am curious, like, what your reasoning behind it is. But like, where I'm at with it is, hey, the guy's going to score a lot of points. He's going to be a guy who can dance around, create some highlight reel plays. That is for sure. He's probably going to win some accolades throughout the rest of his career. But this could just be a move where it's like, we got to change some attitudes around here. We got to change the emotion. We got to get guys ramped up and maybe send a message. And I think that Marner could be the guy who has to do it. I'm not going to sit here and demand that he should be traded, but I think that we might be in a position now with him where it's like, hey, this is a viable option where you could get big pieces in return. But I'm curious as to your thoughts about why you feel like Mitch Marner should be out the door.
I got a couple things to say here. And the
Okay.
number one thing that stood out tonight was watching Marner chase after the puck in the corner with a defender there. He's racing to the puck against Vancouver's defender, and you can tell that he's letting up before he becomes within striking distance of the puck.
Hmm.
Like he's purposely slowing down, and he doesn't engage the puck at all. He doesn't even lay an elbow, a hit, nothing. He doesn't even make contact with the defender.
Right.
And I don't know if you've noticed it, Zach, but he's very good at slowing down. He's kind of hiding the fact that he's slowing down. He's making it look like he's not, um, like he's making it look like he's trying, but he's not. He's just coasting. He's like an expert at it. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, it's like he's got that expert level like skill deception move where it's like you think he's going into the corner, maybe he just got beat because he's like a millisecond behind, but in reality he probably could have got there first.
Yeah, 100%. I've noticed it multiple times where and I don't know if the fans can notice it on the ice on at ice level, but for sure he's not taking that extra stride. It's obvious to me just from the television screen. I'm wondering what the comment section thinks about that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, if anybody else has any comments, I do see Gordon Graham here saying Marner has so much hustle and does so much that it'd give him a break on his glum face.
No, I can't agree with that. And another thing about Marner is he loves to play the perimeter all night. He won't penetrate inside. He won't engage. It's just all perimeter play, and it's not just Marner, but it's the whole team. Um, I've never seen him throw a hit. I don't know how long he's been here, 5 years, 6 years. I've never seen him throw a hit once. I haven't. I really haven't. Have you? Has anybody else? I don't think so. I really don't.
Yeah, I mean, it is interesting because if you look at his stats, he does manage to get hits on the box score at the end of the night. But yeah, I do understand what you're saying, where it's like, hey, even if he's going in the corner against the guy and he does lose that battle, he's not going in there to hit the guy, right? Like he's going in there and losing that battle and then putting a hand on the back or a hand on the shoulder kind of thing, where he's pushing up against the guy and like maybe bumping him into the boards. Maybe that's what they're counting as a hit, but I do understand what you're saying. Now, I wouldn't necessarily be looking for Marner to be hitting guys all the time,
No,
in like a big hit kind of situation,
no.
but I mean, he does manage to get hits on the box score. It's more, I guess, that he's not throwing some of the big hits. I think it just looks worse where you start to feel like, hey, this guy's not doing things physically when he does those slow up plays, because he is actively avoiding them.
Yeah, he doesn't even rub guys out. He doesn't even he could sacrifice himself the odd time to make a play, but he doesn't go into the corners at all. I've noticed Nylander has been guilty of it in the past, but it's really hard to ripe on Nylander right now. He's playing well, and
Yeah.
he's so shifty that he can get away with it. But Marner is, to me, he's not ready to take the next level as far as competing. There's a reason why we haven't gone over the hump, and $11 million a year. You think you'd take a hit or two for the boys, like take one or two hits a series even, and he does. I don't know. He doesn't care, man. He doesn't care, man. He has his money. He's not gonna get hit.
You know what I saw? It was an interesting stat. It was posted last night. Since 2005, they posted the goal leaders, and it was Ovechkin, Crosby, Stamkos, Malkin, and Patrick Kane. Since 2005 as well, when you compared the hits across the guys, Alex Ovechkin, 3,301 hits since 2005. Patrick Kane, 229 hits. So, I mean, it's not necessarily like demanding out of them, but you can see that certain guys they will lay the body in and engage in that. Steven Stamkos over 1,000 hits. Like some of these guys, they do. Crosby, I think he was just shy of 1,000 hits, but yeah, there was some stuff like that. Calvin, before I let you go on here, there is a massive super chat here, so I will take this right now. Super chat from Dan Freeman. Shout out Dan for the super chat. Greatly appreciated. That was unreal. Dan saying, showing up late. Sorry, boys. I'm not happy with this win. I'll take it, but this isn't working. Marner standing in the corner while play is live, looking at the refs while the puck is 3 feet away. WTF, get on the puck, dude. Before I give my thoughts on that, Calvin, because you are on here talking about Marner and how you feel about him, do you have any thoughts on Dan's super chat there?
It seems like Leafs Nation is seeing a lot of the same thing, and being in Scotiabank tonight, I bet you a lot of the crowd saw the same thing tonight, and we're not going to let them get away with it. I think more and more people are going to start to point this out, and Marner might be the first one to go this year.
See,
Hey,
yeah, see, like I was in a position where I kind of feel like it might just be one of those big room change situations where you got to do like it is. Here's the thing, okay? Marner is very clearly one of the leaders on this team, whether it be because of his play on the ice or the way he acts in the room or whatever it is. But the other thing that people need to understand that goes along with that, it goes hand in hand, is that the rest of the team is going to feed off of that energy. And if you watched the Leafs like 24/7, that thing that they did on Amazon, the All or Nothing, they had mentioned in that thing about how the rest of the room feeds off of Marner's energy. Well, when the guy is standing there like Dan is talking about and he's just looking at the refs and he's complaining or he's looking upset or he's slamming his stick, but he's not slamming his stick because he's pissed off, he's slamming his stick because he's going to go to the room and cry, it sends a different tone. When they show Sidney Crosby on the bench and he's sitting there and he's pissed off or he breaks a stick or something, he's there and he's mad and he's talking to guys on the bench, whatever, he's engaged in the game. You can tell Sidney Crosby getting pissed off has some type of different aura about it, because I know people will look at him as an example as a guy who wore his emotions on his sleeve. I have no problem with Marner wearing his emotions on his sleeve, but you can't tell me that there's not a definitive difference in Auston Matthews getting pissed off and snapping his stick, and Mitch Marner having the look on his face where he's going to cry. Like, do you remember that moment when he was in the box against the Habs and they cut to him on the penalty box cam and he had the sour face on? Like, that type of stuff goes through the rest of the team where everyone else just starts to feel that energy come through them as well.
Yeah, 100%. I lost a lot of respect for him when I heard that he went into the dressing room and had a hissy fit with his stick, but he refuses to throw a hit or block a shot or, whatever. He doesn't want to do it on the ice. You hit the nail on the head. People see that on the team and they don't know who to get behind, really. And we have so much skill that we can afford to trade away Marner for something else. Zach, thanks for your time. I'm going to sign off here, but you have a good night, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'll see you in the chat for the rest of this one. Calvin, thank you for calling in here. Greatly appreciated as always.
You betcha, man.
All right. I'll see you later. We got Gordon calling in here, so we'll see what Gordon's got to say all the way from Japan. Wait till Gordon's audio connects. But Dan, thank you again for the super chat. I'm sure Gordon's going to have some thoughts on this. Gordon, what's up? For the rest of this one, Calvin, thank you for calling in here. Gordon, you got to mute your computer in the back there.
Okay, I've muted it. How's that?
Okay, yeah, we're good to go. What's up, Gordon? How's it going, man? We haven't talked in a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. Anyways, great to have you back, guy. Love the show.
Thank you.
Great to be here.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So I'm sure you're seeing a lot of the Marner chat going on right now. There's a lot of people going on about it. And I see this comment here from, I'm hoping I'm going to say this name right, Amen Dodia. He says, what exactly do you think we can get for Marner? Seriously, how do you make that deal during the season and not lose it? Come on, guys. This isn't fantasy hockey or video games. That's a valid point. I will honestly say that is kind of valid. Like, it is hard to make those mid-season trades, but Just on the Marner front here, Gorda, like, how are you feeling about Mitch Marner right now? Do you see like what I'm saying with Mitch Marner in terms of that?
I see where you're coming from, Zach, but I'm a big Marner fan. I love what Marner does for the team. I mean, the guy's got, off the charts offensive ability.
Yeah.
And the guy's dogged determination. I totally disagree with the previous caller on Marner like holding up and stuff to avoid hits. Marner holds up because you can see him. He's checking his shoulder, looking for teammates to feed if he gets the puck. Or if he gets behind guys, he knows he's a lightweight, so he's not going to drive the guy off the puck. So he's looking to steal the puck. And he was, I think, in the top 5 in the NHL in takeaways last year. The top 10 only had 3 forwards: Draisaitl, Matthews, and Marner. The rest are defense, because of, obviously you're going to be, battling for pucks in the defensive zone and getting more takeovers than forwards do. I mean, Marner does a lot of things extremely well. Yeah, he's sulky. But I mean, everybody's got their own personalities, guy. And if a teammate is sulking is affecting your game, then you're the issue, not the guy that's sulking. That's the way I look at it. And he's sulking because he cares, right? Like, he cares. His game doesn't sag. He might sulk, but his game doesn't sag. He's out there hustling every shift. Just look at the guy's determination. He's out there hustling every shift. And getting back to this point about, well, what would you get for Marner in a trade? Yeah, Marner's contract, he's overpaid. Definitely. He should be paid around $9 million probably, if we're going to look at other comparables in the NHL. You have to ask yourself, what are you going to get for that $11 million? Are you going to get 2 $5 million players? Well, how is that going to really help the Leafs? Yeah, it's okay, but look around the league. Look at the $5 million level type players. Are they going to make as big an impact on the Leafs? Yeah, okay. If you can get a guy, if you could manage to get a guy like Parayko and say, some other, Riley's at the end of a contract, right? Riley's Riley and the Blues.
Ryan O'Reilly.
Like, he'd be an excellent playoff type player, and he's on a expiring contract, so you might be able to get him. Blues are tanking; they're not doing well, so there's a guy you can definitely pick up. So you maybe guys like that, but on the whole, you're looking at you'd have to replace what Marner does for the team as well, right?
Yes. Yes, that is very true. Man, it's hard to continue to use this example. It's a different sport. Things are affected differently, but my comparison that I just continue to go to, and it's because it hits so close to home as someone who is a Raptors fan and watched them make those trades and kind of felt the emotions of like, wow, I can't believe we traded DeMar DeRozan, but DeMar DeRozan is a prolific scorer in the NBA, and it was kind of like, hey, how are we going to replace that? When they traded him, it shook the kind of energy of the team and changed the mentality of them and how they were going to play. Now, see, part of my problem, and I kind of feel like you'll understand this, Gord, especially because you're coaching younger kids, and I like saw it when I was playing, but it's like, hey, yes, these guys are in the NHL and like they shouldn't necessarily be affected by some of the stuff, but it is also true that on the inverse, when a guy brings the energy and brings some of the stuff and has the positive attitude, it brings guys with them. It brings the energy levels up. So when you see, and like even related to minor hockey, when you see that one kid who maybe has a ton of talent, but they throw a little bit of a tantrum or they start sulking and stuff, don't you agree that it kind of starts to affect the rest of the team in that sense, where it starts to go through the rest of them?
Yeah, I think it does. It does when the guy's game on the ice starts to sulk as well. You'll see guys whose their game on the ice kind of sulks.
That's valid.
They're I don't know. They tend to kind of like just throw their shoulders or shrug their shoulders, and you see their effort dwindling. Where I don't see that with Marner. I see more effort. I see him hustling even more. I mean, he's not getting the results. Of course, he's getting points and so forth. But the guy is just like phenomenal in terms of penalty killing, in terms of like he's always got dogged determination, hustling, skating, looking to shut down lanes. Even when he's not stealing pucks, he's shutting down lanes. He's taking away passing options. He's just his hockey IQ is off the charts, and his hustle is off the charts. I'll take his sulking for that. I'll take it every day. Some of the other guys that got to pick it up.
Yeah.
You know, I see Matthews, fall into a little bit of sulking sometimes too. Like he'll do it too.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, everybody's different, right? Everybody's different.
We do got a super chat here, Gord, from Dan Freeman. He's continuing to talk about the Marner stuff, so we'll get to that. So shout out Dan. Dan, absolute legend in the chat as well here. Thank you for the super chat. Dan says, Marner cares enough to stop hustling for the puck in the corner. He's not the ref. Play till you hear the whistle. That play went down the ice and ended in a 2-on-1 because he says song, but because he stopped working. Before I answer that or respond to this, Gordon, do you have any initial thoughts on Dan's super chat there?
Yeah, I'm not sure what play he's referring to be honest with you. What play was that again?
See, when Dan mentioned it earlier, I was thinking of a different play.
I think it was an empty net goal. Was it an empty net goal the other night, perhaps?
Maybe. I'm blanking on it right now.
I'm not sure.
But as far as these stuff where he kind of has that stop and sulk attitude, I just feel like it could be something. It depends on who the guys are that are coming back, and because you bring up Parayko or you bring up Ryan O'Reilly, those kinds of guys, I feel like it could be a situation where it's just hey, it changes the energy. Maybe you bring in some guys with a different level or a different mindset of determination. Oh, Dan's saying nope. 10 minutes into tonight. 10 minutes into the game. I think I do remember that now. Actually, earlier in the first period, yeah. But
okay, full disclosure, I only caught the second and third period, so luckily I missed that first.
Okay, fair enough. The first was bad. The first was really ugly.
Okay.
Yeah. So, are you completely anti-Marner trade then?
Well, you can never say complete, right? But I'm against moving on from Marner. I'm against moving on from Marner. I'm against moving on from Matthews. I think those are the two guys that the Leafs have to stick with.
Okay,
Marner's
so let's get off of.
Team.
Yeah, I keep seeing that too. Let's get off of the Marner conversation. So for me, I think you've been around long enough to see how my opinions of the team have kind of changed as it's gone along, and we've watched some of these slumps. I've had different periods where it's hey, this isn't working, the goaltending's not working, the defense isn't working, power play, whatever, and it's a pinpointed thing where you can kind of find it, whether it be for a short period of time or it ends up being extended out. Now, we're kind of in this situation now where every night, even through these first 16 games especially, it's kind of becoming the identity of this Leafs team in a sense where it's you feel incomplete from what they're giving you. Even in a win, you don't feel walking away. Other than really for me, that Winnipeg game, that's one that stands out of where I walked away was wow, that's the way to win a hockey game. That's the way to play the game. Other than that, I still haven't really got that feeling from the team. It feels like there's always something missing. And even in some of these wins they've had, almost tonight, because of the way they played for the first period and a little bit of the second period, it felt hey, maybe we're not going to deserve to win this one. This team, for me, I'm starting to kind of just get to the point where it's I think it's just between the ears of these guys. It's a mental thing from top to bottom from everybody on this team. When you're watching this, I was just going to ask, when you're watching this, are you sitting here saying hey, there's this one thing that needs to be fixed, there's this one thing that needs to be changed? People are blaming certain players, whether it be the core four or Marner or Nylander or whatever. But I also see people blaming Dubas here. Yeah, so I'm curious.
Here's my take on it. Training camp is too long. And what happens is, and here's what happens, and this has happened throughout the league. You're in training camp, you're doing all these drills, right? A lot of flow drills. So it's a lot of quick flow hockey, which when you translate that into game type situation, it looks like shinny. And then they got to get out of that shinny mode. And it takes until, late November to fully get into hockey mode. And for me, the best game was against the Bruins because that was a hockey game. They're all committed to skating hard, getting in on the forecheck with layers, like getting support. Like I said last year, I think the Leaf system is bullying the puck. That is getting one guy in and then two guys in behind them on the forecheck, so that you're always surrounding the puck. You're always surrounding the puck, and there you can cause turnovers and get those. But you got to get in hard on the forecheck, and you got to create those turnovers to get those pucks. And all that training camp stuff, it's all flow stuff. It's all la-di-da-di-da. It's not la-di-da. I mean, guys are hustling and skating. They want to get their speed up. They want to get their, they want to get their precision in terms of their passing and so forth up. But that doesn't translate into hockey on the ice in terms of game type situations. Game type situations are different. You got to get in harder. A lot of the times it's not the flow stuff. It's chip it in and grind. And that takes a while. That takes a while to get into that type of mode. And it's not just, I've got NHL.com. I watch a lot of hockey. I watch a lot of different hockey games. And there's a lot of teams. Tampa, for example, doing exactly the same type of hockey, right? That kind of flow stuff, and not enough, grinded out, gritty type hockey. The Leafs, they seem unwilling to want to play that hockey. They know they can play it, but on some nights they seem unwilling. When they're playing against a tough opponent, they're willing to play that type of game because they know they need to play that type of game to be able to have some kind of success. When they're playing the weaker teams, they just kind of fall back into shinny mode. And that's what I'm seeing. So I think the personnel is fine. There's got to be a few. Obviously, we need an upgrade on D. The D is just, the guys are doing as well as they can under the conditions, right? Yes, I get on here left, right, and center to back up Hall because I know what Hall is and I know what Hall does. He's a number 6 defenseman at best. And he's not bad at what he does, and he's really bad at what he doesn't do. There's no question about that. They need
I can agree with you on that.
One right-handed defenseman, and they need a beast, a guy like Parayko, or even a guy like Mayfield, who's a defensive defenseman, and he can play with an offensive guy like Riley, who can rush the puck. You need a guy to clear the front of the net and stop the cycle, and a high-level guy who's used to playing against top lines, which is what Mayfield is. So to me, a few tweaks is what they need. They should be looking at Ryan O'Reilly. He's on an expiring contract. There's a guy that you could look at to giving up picks. And I've come around to your opinion on Robertson. Like, Robertson looks fine. Like, he could be a scorer in the NHL, but like I posted the other day, quoting Ray Ferraro's opinion of what's his name, Yakupov. I mean, he looks like he's skating like 100 miles an hour, like he's being chased by bees, and that's what Robertson looks like. He's just skating all over the place, but he's achieving nothing.
Right.
And you're bang on about Malgin over him. So I really like Malgin. Has really good hockey IQ. He's on the right side of the puck.
And he hounds the puck, hey?
And I can't believe how physical he is. Like,
for a small guy.
He must have big tree trunks for legs because he can really get in there and get a leverage on these big guys and bump them. He's bumping big guys that are 6'2", 6'3" off the puck and getting the puck back. And he's got the guts and the wherewithal to cut the center ice. You'll see him go through center he won't just go straight up, which is easy to read for the D, right? He'll cut across, he'll cut center ice. And when he enters the zone, he'll cut center ice. And we don't have enough forwards that do that. Marner is one guy who does that. You don't see Nylander cutting for center ice. No way. Ever since he got popped in the World Junior Championships in way back when, he just will not drive center ice. He's much better this year. He looks heavier. He looks he's battling for pucks down low. He's getting pucks back. He will not drive center ice. He just is shy of center ice. And that's a big problem if you're a winger.
Yeah. We do have a super chat here, so I want to make sure that I get to that before not let it go by, but I have some other thoughts here for you. So super chat from Dan Freeman. Shout out Dan for the super chat. Always appreciated. Dan says, boys, I'm not saying trade Marner. I'm saying he needs a reality check. So tired of watching these guys think they're the refs out there. You know what? I can get behind this at least from the perspective of, I hate when guys start trying to like call plays and call penalties during the play. If you got a dispute with it, wait till the whistles. They're not going to change their mind. They're not going to change their mind if they haven't called anything. So wait till the whistle to do so. But I also just want to say, if you guys are in here right now, you're watching this, you haven't hit subscribe, make sure to hit subscribe on this channel. Right now, you can turn on notifications by hitting the bell. You'll get notified every single time we go live, every time we post videos on this channel. So they'll all be there. And you guys can throw a like on this video. That would be greatly appreciated. Okay, so Gord, some thoughts for you. So I just want to also say, like, you brought up the Nick Robertson thing. I'm not in the camp of like, hey, we need to trade him. I'm just in the position of like, if an opportunity comes around, I think you got to take it, because I think he's going to have a good career in the NHL. I think he's going to be an NHL player. But I just am looking at this team right now, and everyone's gets upset year after year of like, oh no, like we need to win now. We need to win now. We need to win now. Well, does Nick, like, do you think, if I'm wrong here, if you think I'm wrong, please just tell me, like, I'm not offended by it. But do you think Nick Robertson like changes this team by playing in the lineup? Like, do you think he makes a significant difference in this team by playing in this lineup?
Well, definitely he's not going to make as big a difference as someone coming back, right? If you're getting the right guy coming back, right? So you're right. Like, I mean, you got to move somebody to get somebody, right?
Yeah.
You can't expect to get something back like for a guy like, even Kerfoot is good, but he's on an expiring contract too. You're not going to get guys who are on expiring contracts. You're not going to get anything back for them other than like a 5th round pick or something. What good is that?
Yeah.
You're not going to get guys like that. You have to give up something. You have to give
that's
up
a clearing money move.
Yes. You have to get, exactly. That would be a clearing money move. Exactly. You got to get rid of guys who are either young, talented prospects and a 1st round pick. So Robinson's obviously the guy with a 1st round pick or more for a guy like Ryan O'Reilly, let's say. Now, who's going to have a bigger impact, Nick Robinson or Ryan O'Reilly?
Right.
I mean, and there's your answer right
or
there.
Or Colton Parayko. Right.
Yeah. Apparently Parayko's on the no move clause, so
I know he would have to waive. That was brought up in the last one. I got a real excited, and then someone, I think it was you actually, had replied when we saw the no move clause someone talked about, and it was just like, well, okay, yeah. Fair enough. He's got a waive. But, I mean, let me actually just check. Where is Parayko even from? Do you know?
He's from Alberta. He came from some, like, the Northern Alberta Hockey League or something. He wasn't even a WHL guy. He was like, not junior B, but
Alberta Junior League.
Yeah.
He played at the University of Alaska Fairbanks. Nice.
Wow. He's a horse, man.
He played for the Fort McMurray Oil Barons in the Alberta Junior League.
Wow, that sounds like half the guys are smoking cigarettes between periods.
The Fort McMurray Oil Barons, but yeah, like those are guys that, hey, like Chychrun is obviously to me like the big shiny toy. Where I've brought it up before, and I think I brought it up before especially because, I mean, let's be honest, it's like hard to say, and they are an NHL GM, but like, who's the guy that you're more likely to be able to give up less to get more back from? Probably the GM in Arizona. Like, look at that deal where we moved Nick Ritchie and got back Lyubushkin. Does Lyubushkin still play on this team? No. But the thing is, like, remember what happened when we made that trade? Every single Leafs fan was just sitting here like, how the hell did we manage to steal these guys from Arizona in
I
exchange
wonder
for
how
like
much. I wonder how much of Chikrin's play have most of the people on here commenting seen. How much have you seen of Chikrin? Like, to be honest with you, I mean, I'm not focusing on Chikrin when I watch our Leafs Arizona game,
right.
and even though I got NHL.com, I'm not watching Arizona games. So I honestly speaking, haven't seen enough of Chikrin to
Okay.
make an honest assessment of, is this the guy we need or not? You know,
Yeah, fair
and
enough.
I'm not sure anybody else has seen that much of him either.
I can't speak to anybody else. I'm familiar with him. I played against him in minor hockey. So like I at least knew that going up and then was able to follow him throughout. But like, so like I know I'm well aware of who he is. But yeah, I just think like that's the shining toy. He's the young guy. He's got some years left on his contract. But like a Colton Parayko would be perfect. He would be perfect here. I also just want to give this a shout out real quick because I see Dan is leaving the chat here. So we do have another super chat from Dan. Well, thank you, Dan, for the super chat. Dan says, I can't wait until this fan base realizes Philip Hollander is a regular PK guy for Pittsburgh. Dubas let that guy go twice, I think. But I'm joking, of course. Tuesday, people might put it together. Did you realize that? I realized it last time. So thank you, Dan. Appreciate the super chat. But Gord, did you realize that Philip Hollander was traded by the Leafs twice?
No, I didn't realize that.
I'm trying to remember what deals. I know one of them had something to do with
Kapanen was one. He was in the Kapanen deal.
Yeah.
I believe.
Yes, he was. I'm trying to remember.
I don't know what
else.
the other one was.
I think he might have been in the yeah. Okay.
And I'm reading in the chat like trade Hall. I don't know what people think the Leafs are going to get for Hall. He's making $2 million and he's number 6 guy at best. So
that's a
fifth round draft pick.
Yeah. So here it is, Gord. First trade. Pittsburgh Penguins acquire Kasperi Kapanen, Pontus Aberg, and Jesper Lindgren. The Toronto Maple Leafs acquire a 2020 first-round pick, Evan Rodriguez, Philip Hollander, and David Warsofsky. The second trade, we fire Hollander back to the Penguins with a 7th-round pick for Jared McCann.
What's your impression of Yarncroc? Yarncroc is disappointed. He looks light and late on most plays. He is supposed to be a defensive specialist, but he's a half step late on reading most of the plays from what I can see.
So when we got him, I initially thought he was basically going to be like another Kerfoot with a little more tenacity and cheaper. And he's just proved to be, like, so far, at least, he can turn it around. It is early, as we've said about a lot of these guys as well. He's just proved to be, as you said, steps behind. Like, he's steps behind right now.
He's a step behind. He's a step behind every play. And when he's not, he's not getting the puck back. He's too light. He's slappy stick. When you're that kind of a defensive guy, I want to see a little bit more push, like at least like some Dennis Malgin type push on the players to get some turnovers on the puck. But he just gets in there, he'll get there late. And when he gets in there, he's just like ticky-tack with the slappy stick kind of checking, which is just, oh man, I just look at it. Come on, guy. Get in there.
It's hard.
Loosen some pucks.
What is so far 16 games through the beginning of the season here? What are the signings that you look at the most and go, what the hell were we doing? Or like, that was a bad signing. So some that are like sticking, the two that stick out to me right now would immediately be Engvall, because he's not being good through the first 16 games. And it kind of sucks because he's a guy that we were so high on last year, I think, as an entire fan base, where we looked at this guy and just were like, wow, he took steps forward. He grew up. He's done some good things here. He looks physically, he looks strong, etc. And now he gets paid, he gets the contract, comes into this season, and you needed him to either be what he was last year at minimum or take steps forward. And it's been completely short of that. It's just not even been there at all.
At least he's gotten out of the habit of turning over the puck at either blue line. Like hockey coaches will tell you, man, turnovers at either blue line are
worst ever.
They're killers, man.
Yep.
And he would turn into, like, he would have his back to the play on the boards and turn into the center of the ice with the puck consistently, and do that at both blue lines, do that at either blue line. So he's gotten away from that, which is good. He transports the puck very well. In other words, he gets the puck out of our zone very well. So that I like. He'll get the puck in, but he's too light on the forecheck. Okay, I get it. He's not going to be physical in terms of throwing the body. Get in there and get the puck back. However you do it, I don't care. Get in there, tie the guy up, let your teammates get the puck back. But it's a one and done when they chip the puck in and his line's out there. He'll just, like, unless he's out there with Camp, who'll get in there on the heavy side.
Does the Malgin stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm disappointed. You think you're expecting, like, you're going to get a little bit more offense because he's got some great torque on that long stick, right? You can get a quick, hard shot off, but I shouldn't say quick. That's a problem, right? He needs a lot of room to get that shot off because he's so long, right? He needs a lot of room, and there's no room in NHL hockey, right? He just doesn't. So, which is why he always curls back and try to get up high and then get that shot off. But he's easy to read because of that. Everyone knows his tendencies now because you do the scouting reports or whatever. So he's getting cut off from any kind of scoring chances. The only scoring chances he can really get are, on the rush, or today, like, just get a rebound. He's smart enough with that length to, give himself a little room and step away from the net a little bit, which is what I like. So, yeah, I'm disappointed in him, but what's he making? 2.5?
I think so, yeah.
I think he's fine at 2.5. And I think he does a lot of things well that maybe I wouldn't say everyone, a lot of people don't notice it. He cuts off ice. He'll cut off lanes. Like, maybe he's not checking guys or whatever, but, D can't make that pass because he's in there clogging up the lanes. Or forwards can't make the pass because he's clogging up lane. And he'll get in quickly, even though he's not loosening pucks, which I'd like to see more of. But he'll do things, he gets back, he'll hustle back. He's those long strides. It doesn't take him long to cover ice. So yeah, I say he's, maybe he's a little bit overpaid, but you just kind of look at him and you're hoping for a little bit more, and it just never comes, So I can see your disappointment, and I'm sure everyone feels the same, right? You want a little bit more from the guy.
Yeah, and I think part of it is that, like, you didn't sign other people because you kept it in-house and kept him, and it just hasn't worked out, where it's like, hey, maybe we could have gone out and got another guy for that 2.5 mil or whatever it is, that maybe that guy could have done a little bit more than what he's doing. So that's, I think, where some of the disappointment comes in with him for me. Now, a guy that I'm also a little bit, like, I don't know, where do you stand on how Rasmus Sandin has started the year?
Just absolutely horrific.
Yeah.
Horrific.
Yeah.
He looks like he's a guy who looks like he's playing shinny hockey. He's playing shinny hockey, and he's just getting manhandled. He's got the yips half the time. He's like, and he was a guy I was big on. Like, I thought I put him over Liljegren, and because he's so silky smooth. He's got great agility. He's good with the puck. He can move the puck. But he'll make shinny plays, like he'll make risky plays, like he's the last guy back. He'll try and dangle the forechecker and stuff like that. It's just like, oh man, make the simple play, guy. It's tough for him. He's got to play on his right-hand side because we don't have right-handed defensemen, right? So that's tough. I'd like to see him on his left-hand side. I'd like to see him actually go down to the Marlies and just play, but I don't know, guy. He's just, for me, he's been absolutely horrific. He's been the Leafs' worst defenseman, worse than Hall, in my opinion. And that's saying a lot, okay? Even though I'm up here trying to defend Hall half the time, I'm just defending Hall for what he does well. I understand the guy's a galoot and uncoordinated, and he handcuffs himself a lot of the times. But I think people just focus on that and miss like a lot of stuff he does well, which is cut off ice, which is prevent entries, because he's got great gap control. He's got great reads through the neutral zone. I don't know if you notice it, but you'll see him coming over from his strong side, and he'll cut off plays before they happen. He does a lot of things well, but that's all I'm going to say about him, okay? Because I'm sick of being the Hall guy. So let's just get back to Sandin. I think he's the absolute worst defenseman on the Leafs this year by far. Far.
And I think at least relative to expectations, it's been very, very, very disappointing for him, for Sandin this season. Like, it's just, you kind of think he's going to sign that contract and come in here and be incredible. Now, mind you, he does miss a lot of training camp being around the guy, so he did have a later start. Who knows?
Yeah,
maybe it starts
tough.
to turn
that's
around.
Tough for
but
him to come in like up with on the ground running type of thing. So you gotta give him that, and it's tough playing on this wrong side, right? So that's tough. Like he got to give away at the blue line the other day against Pittsburgh, where he was at Pittsburgh. It was at the blue line. Who was it against? I forget. Was it Carolina? All these games
remember.
in so short a time.
Yeah, I know.
He fumbled the puck at the blue line, at the offensive blue line. It turned out to be a breakaway and a goal. So, yeah, he's having some tough moments out there.
All right, so one more.
He's up this physicality a bit. He's trying those reverse hits a lot, which is good. Use that butt. That's a good technique, but he still has problems along the boards with big forwards, and he has problems in front of the net with big forwards. He's having a tough time there.
Okay, so another one that I want to talk about here, he did make his debut tonight, and then I'm going to let you go, and I'll close this out with my play of the... Actually, you know what? Let's talk about this. I'll get you to give your play of the game here as well, and then we'll get out. I'll do my grades, and we'll wrap this thing up. All right, Jordy Ben. I didn't really know what to make of the signing when it happened. I thought he was more going to be a depth guy than anything. He gets injured in training camp. He makes his debut here tonight. He scores a goal. The guy was firing pucks at the net. He was shooting a lot. He was making a lot of hits. He was running guys over. Like that penalty that he took where he mauled down Connor Garland in front of the net. I didn't even have a problem with it. That was honestly just a case of just being stronger than the guy and winning the battle. Like, all we want here as Leafs fans is like, win the battles in front of the net, clear guys out. We got a guy who does it.
I would have loved to have seen a cross-check by Hall into the back of Horvat on that goal instead of reaching around for the lame, try to tie up the stick play. You know what I'm saying? I much prefer that.
But it's like, I feel like the ref was looking at Ben and was like, holy shit, we never see Leafs players do that. Like, something must have been done wrong there. I mean, it is a penalty, it is interference, but it's just like, you kind of feel like that might be getting away with for a bunch of other teams. But what do you make of Jordy Ben here stepping in? Obviously, it's one game, so you can't make too much of it, but he's also a veteran guy.
I'm going to reserve my judgment on that. I just, who knows? Like I noticed before, he's kind of clunky. He's got his feet. Of course, he's slow. He's not that.
He's like a less skilled Jake Muzzin.
Yes, he's less skilled than Jake Muzzin. Yes.
But like he's got the physicality and the size, right? But he's got the
physicality and the size. He's definitely got the physicality and the size. Yeah, I'd like to see a little bit more of him. I don't know enough really, to be honest with you, to make an honest assessment. He played well tonight. Give him credit where credit's due. It's good to see the physicality in the game. We need a little bit more of that, a lot more of that. So and he's a depth piece, so that's a good signing as a depth piece at that price. So definitely that's a good signing, and you can't complain with that. And he goes down to the Marlies, doesn't bark about it, nothing. A true pro, comes back up,
a pro's pro.
So a pro's pro. So definitely a good signing. I'm big on that, to be honest with
I'm
you.
interested to see what else he can do. Like, the guy shot the puck so many times tonight. Obviously, that's not going to be sustainable. But, like, you know what we kind of need from this team? And we saw it on the play where Riley shot it, and I believe it was Engvall who buried. If I'm thinking about the right one. And it's just like, no, it was on the Jordy Ben goal. Riley shot the puck from the point, but it's like, you know what we kind of need? We need defensive contributions here where our defensemen are going to shoot the puck. Because, hey, we don't need them to score a ton of goals, but we need them to contribute something offensively.
We need them to get pucks through.
Yes.
I don't care if it's the big slapper or just the small sifter. And that's what Sandin does really well. Sandin does well. He'll get the puck through. He sifts the puck through. So, credit to him for that. But we need more guys like Riley. You got to get the puck through a little bit more. You got to get the puck through a little bit more often. You know what I'm saying? Just get it through so we can get some tips, so we can get some rebounds. We can get some greasy goals up in the, in net front. The pucks aren't getting through. They're not getting through. They're not getting through from the wings because we don't have enough guys driving the net. When they are through, it's just an easy save for the goalie. And we're not getting enough through from the point. So we're relying on either rush goals or relying on cycles where there's like huge open spaces of ice where we can get shots off, which, against good, tough defensive teams like Boston, they're not there. Yeah. So we got to get pucks to the net. And it's not happening enough. So 100% agree with you. Good to see Ben getting some shots through to the net tonight. Definitely.
Okay, so we'll get to our play of the day, play of the game here. But before we do, I just want to remind everybody, if you guys are here watching right now and you haven't hit subscribe already, make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit like on this video as well. The support is greatly appreciated. We're trying to get to that 3K subscribers. It's been a little bit of a grind. So if anybody hasn't hit subscribe already, make sure to do so. But Gordon, I'm going to hit the little animation here, and then we'll get to our Auston Matthews play of the day. All right. Auston Matthews play of the day. I'm going to let you go first. What is your play of the day, play of the game from tonight's game?
I'm going to go with the Auston Matthews goal just because it's just nice to see that wrist shot go top shelf again. I mean, I've missed it.
Yeah.
So it was just nice to see. And I'm a huge Auston fan, so anytime Auston's putting the puck in the net is a good day for me.
Yeah, I'm on the same page. I'm going with the same goal there. That play was, that shot was just incredible. Steps in with time and space and just rips that one. There is probably not a goalie in the NHL who's saving that shot, that placement, that speed from that close in. That was incredible. So that is also my Auston Matthews play of the day. Gord, I'm going to let you go here before I give my grades of the game. Before I do you have any final statements? Anything else you want to say? Actually, you know what? I just want to ask you a personal question. Like, how's things going in Japan right now?
Everything's great, man. We're coming up to final exams for our term. So I run the youth hockey program here, but I'm also a high school teacher. I've been teaching high school here for 30 years. So kids are great, super disciplined, super friendly. It's a piece of cake, man. I love it here.
Nice. I'm glad to hear that. All right. Now I will get to you here. Final thoughts that you have about the Leafs, about this team, any final statements? I mean, you watched the show before, so you know kind of why we leave this off. Is there anything you want to say before you go, the closing remarks here on your call tonight?
Yeah, I think that overall, I think the Leafs have a good hockey team. There has to be some tweaks made. Hopefully they can make some tweaks at the deadline and shore up that D that's sorely needed. Hopefully Samsonov can come back healthy. Shalgren is a great number 3 to have. Hopefully Murray turns the corner and come back and he can shore things up as well. But I think just a few tweaks. Definitely have to get a defender, and we definitely need someone. We need another heavy forward up front, a heavy forward that can turn pucks over. And then I think we're set. And then just get into that hockey mentality and out of the shitty. I don't know if it's mentality, but it's just a kind of mode that carries over into their games because they are so skilled and because they are so good at, transitioning pucks and so forth. Those little quick deft passes and so forth. They get used to it. It feels good. I can see it. I can feel it. I can understand how that can seep into their game and they can get away from the hockey, which is the more hard grinding, and then create the offense from the turnovers. I'd like to see that. And I think they understand it and they know that because they play that type of hockey against the better hockey teams. And then they fall into the trap of the shinny hockey when they're playing lesser teams. And once you fall into it, you can't switch gears mid-game. It's just contagious and it happens. So I'd like to see them get a little, and of course it takes a lot more effort and it takes a lot more just mental stamina to go through an entire game to play like that. So I'd like to see him get a little bit more committed to that type of hockey, and hopefully, it's a long season. I'm not losing it when they play crappy games against crappy teams. I'll just wait and see how it plays out, and then once playoffs start coming around, I want to see that hockey actually type of hockey game, playoff type hockey game gear up. And I hope that they understand that and buy into that. So I'm not going to come out here and freak out if they play crap game against Arizona or Vancouver or whomever. You know what I'm saying? I'm just going to wait it out and hopefully, and if they don't, whatever, then next year or after the playoffs or when they get bounced, we can all come in here and rant.
Yeah, fair enough. I don't want to be in here wearing the bag on my head again. I don't want to have to go through that.
Yeah, I don't want to. I've resorted to watching my kid play hockey in the KHL now. I've got the KHL package to watch his game. So
nice.
Yeah, if the Leafs are doing poorly, I'll watch the Torpedo hockey game. So anyway,
do you get to watch the Swiss league at all out there?
No, like you have to. For the KHL, I subscribe to the package. To watch that. So they don't. No, we don't get that. We don't get NHL games here. The only reason I get it is because I subscribe to the NHL.com. Well, now it's NHL TV, so that's how I get the NHL games here.
All right. Well, if you're ever watching a KHL game with the Kunlun Red Star, guy I grew up playing against, I've hung out with a bunch. Cliff Poo. He's on the Kunlun Red Star there, so just keep that in the back of your mind. But Gord,
okay, I'll check him out.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Thank you for
Good talking to you. Nice seeing you in the chat, boys. Honking Antelope. Yeah, I was wrong about Nylander. 100%. Sometimes,
Happens.
you make mistakes, right? I'd still like Miller though. I was barking all along that I'd take Miller over Nylander, and I still might do that, but I like what Nylander's brought this year. So just to let you know, Honking Antelope, I saw your message and you're right. I will definitely eat some crow on that one, buddy. Take care.
Fair enough. Thanks, Gord. Thanks for calling in. Greatly appreciate it, as always.
All right. See you, guy. Take care.
See ya. There you have it. Call in tonight from Calvin and Gordon. Anybody else who wants to call in ever in future episodes, make sure to join the Discord. You guys can send me a personal message on there. Before I wrap up and give my grades of the game, we do have a super chat here from Dan Freeman. Shout out to Dan for the super chat. Dan says, I oopsied, thought I had to go. I had the wrong day. I'm back, boys. My AM play of the day is Engvall putting one up for Boria. I think that is a good one, especially for sentimental value. Maybe not necessarily for how he's been at and how he plays, but for him putting one in the back of the net on that night, I think that's pretty special. So shout out to Pierre Engvall for that move. I think that's a pretty good one. And thank you, Dan, for all the super chats here tonight. It is greatly appreciated. Before we wrap things up, let's get to the grades of the game. All right, grades of the game. Everyone let us know how you're feeling, what your grades of the game are here for tonight. Let us know if you are
having the time of his life.
And then we will react to some of those. I will give my thoughts. And before I get to my grade of the game here, I actually see Michael says, Zach, good show. Do you agree with the current roster Leafs is fighting for the last wildcard spot? Will you be shocked if they miss to get in? If Dubas keeps the core again in 2023, 2024, are you okay? So first thing I'm going to say here is the current roster, I think that they're going to get in. I would be shocked if they didn't get in, and if they don't get in, I think that they should fire Dubas, because I think that if you miss the playoffs, that's a complete and utter failure, and we got to start again. So I would be shocked if they don't make it. If they keep the core intact, if they keep all 4 guys, I would be not overly impressed. I think that there needs to be some type of shakeup, because running it back again would just be insanity. But I think if you bring a new guy in here, they would not be interested in running it back. Grids of the game here for tonight. I'm going to go with a B+. It was just an underwhelming game. We outshot the Canucks 34-29, out-hit 38-30. Power play ends up going 50% on the night, and the power play has been a weird thing to me, because it's just been like, sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. Still struggling with some of the things we've seen before, and they just continue to do weird things, but managed to score. Auston Matthews gets on the board, so it's like it gets wiped out. Dominated in the face-off circle, that was good, and you see William Nylander gets some points on the night that they represent Borje Salming. Jordy Ben gets his first goal of the season. Auston Matthews with the snipe. John Tavares an assist. So like you battle back from down 2-0 off a slow start. You managed to get the win, and you managed to hold on to it. They held the Canucks power play, which has sucked anyway, so I don't know how much you can give to that PK, but held them to 1 for 4. So I don't know. It was a terrible first period, and then you managed to turn it around. I think B+ is just okay. I would honestly even be willing to go to a B. But yeah, Gordon even saying B from the second period on, missed the first, which sounded like a D. Yeah, I think that's fair. Dan Freeman saying C+, Mark Daigle B, and HurtLocker66 says, you said B+ as I was typing it. I did see, like, as I was saying it, it came up on the screen. So yeah, to me, it's just it's a B+. That's all it is. If everyone here right now could go smash that like button on this, Dan Freeman says, first period, how far down the alphabet can you go? J? Yeah, that's a good point.
Good one, Randy. Good one.
Yeah. If everyone in here right now could go hit that like button on this video, that would be greatly appreciated. And if you haven't already hit subscribe on this channel, make sure you do so, and then turn on those notifications so you don't miss a single second every time we go live or post a video about this team. So make sure to go hit subscribe, hit that like button. Thank you guys so much for tuning in as always, and thank you to everyone who called in here tonight. Calvin, Gordon, great to hear from you guys, great to hear your thoughts. If anybody else wants to call in the future, make sure to join the Discord. The Discord link is in the chat. I also posted it in the description of this video, so you guys can go join there. Go to Leafs Talk. You guys can DM me directly, let me know when you guys want to call in, and I will make sure to send you guys links so you can get in here every single time. But next game against the Pittsburgh Penguins Tuesday night, the Leafs win game 16 of the regular season, 3-2 over the Vancouver Canucks, go to 8-5-3 on the season. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I will do my best to get Goody on here